I'm pleased to welcome Christian Roberts, who is the president of the Institute of Asset Management. Hello to you, Christian. Could you, first of all, expand on your thoughts on the opportunities and challenges for organisations taking an outcomes approach to planning and constructing new infrastructure, starting with what outcomes are crucial for governments and why?
I think maybe we start with the why, and the why is infrastructure is the fabric of society. It is absolutely critical for sustaining human life. It's critical for economic development and growth, and it's critical for national security. So we really need to focus, and governments need to focus on those key aspects. In terms of the what outcomes, there's a strong tangential link between infrastructure and the ability of a government to provide basic needs to communities. And so, we've seen those surveys from across the globe, we've seen those benchmarks. And I think it's important to recognize that where we've made investments in infrastructure, that's where we've seen huge impacts on a government's ability to address things like poverty, social justice, etc. So those are some of the real reasons why outcomes matter.
Christian, why does an outcomes-based approach matter to critical infrastructure owners?
Well, today, Duncan, we're seeing on a greater level than we've seen before a convergence of asset classes. And by that, I mean the ability of the outcome of one asset class is really having an impact on another asset class. You take the transition within the transportation space to electric vehicles as an example. We've traditionally thought about transportation, concrete and metal, roads and bridges. We've now got to start thinking about the digital backbone and the energy backbone that can drive that energy transition. So from an outcomes-based perspective, it really is now about not just thinking about that asset in isolation, thinking about how we develop that asset, but also thinking about the impact of other assets and how we need to make sure that those other asset classes have the ability to deliver to the extent needed.
Let me ask you, what are the challenges when planning new national infrastructure, particularly right now when the economy is in turmoil, and how does asset management aid that planning?
Some huge challenges right now. We've got, and it's on a global scale. I mean, when you look today, the resource shortages, the supply chain shortages, you've got contractors who are saying they're running at capacity. We've got equipment shortages. This is a significant challenge for our governments and for our industry at large. You combine that with the perfect storm of the unprecedented infrastructure investment that we're seeing, and it is a challenge. For us, the asset management play here is really around helping to prioritize where we make those investments. It's really around identifying where we should be making investments, not just where we've got funding available and maybe a project that was thought through. So not just shovel-ready projects, but shovel-worthy projects.
How are outcomes changing the way corporations measure value, and why is this changing?
A couple of reasons, Duncan. The first is you've got a shift in consumer demand. So today, 80% of consumers are really thinking about how they buy products and services from organizations which have a common belief system to their own. In addition to that, the corporate regulators across the globe are now setting out requirements for environmental, social, and corporate governance reporting. Those two factors really do come into play here. From an asset management point of view, the focus around asset management has traditionally been around driving bottom line revenue. So thinking about how we drive operational efficiency and productivity. The real opportunity now is the ability to influence top line revenue by better positioning the brand position in the marketplace, by enabling those organizations to do what they say they're going to do, but do it in a way that achieves net zero carbon goals, that helps them to achieve some of those social equity goals that they're aiming for. Infrastructure, fleet facilities, infrastructure plays a big role in all of that, and there is now a recognition that the C-suite needs to be thinking more carefully about their investments in infrastructure.
Christian, really interesting to get your perspective. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.